There we are.
There we go.
What's up, Tzaddik?
Amazing, Baruch Hashem. I have to tell you, I look forward to this day every week because
I know, Baruch Hashem. I was speaking to a couple of chevra in the shul. They were telling me that they've really been enjoying. They've been enjoying listening in. They've been enjoying catching up on the previous one. So Baruch Hashem, Ken Yirbu.
Yeah. This is it's nourishment for the soul. You know, you got to just think about davening differently. Think about your life differently.
Right. It's which davening is nourishment for the soul. So this is nourishment for the nourishment.
Gatorade.
Right.
That's true.
It's good. Okay, so last time we said that even though I have people that don't like me, they won't be happy when I fail. That's a big mila, right? Meaning even people that disagree with me, they understand that there's David Melech says that there's something called disagreeing with somebody, and then there's something like wanting somebody to drop dead. So he says that when Klal Yisrael is doing what we're supposed to be doing, when David Melech is Melech Malcham Mashiach, then that's not happening. Even the people that he's in competition with don't want to see him fail. And that's a big mila. And then we're on to Hashem Elokai Shivasi Alecha Vatir Pa'ini. I think
we did.
We did. Sorry, we did.
When you find where Hashem is, if you realize that you're from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you realize that He's on your side, then if you really reattach yourself to your source, then that's where you find your refuah. That's where you find your connection.
That was the refuah. That's the real refuah hanefesh. Right? Yeah. Okay. So Hashem Elisa min Shol Nafshi. Elisa min Shol Nafshi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you took me out of the pit of doom, from Sheol, from the grave, from Gehenna. It's different times in Chumash and Tanakh. Sheol seems to have different flavors.
Yeah.
But,
in this framework, it seems to be a personal Sheol Nafshi, the netherworld of my soul.
Right. I think you're up.
Let's go for it. So here we go. Hayirida Shalachayim. When we fall down in life, b'miut hademus hachiyonit, without enough of the image of being of liveliness, b'mechigas kishronoseha, with the wiping out of all of its abilities, ki mashira rak es hanakuda shel hachefetz. All that remains is that small point of will, of the attempt to want more. Haratzon nichyos, the want to will to live. She'ifalis kayem b'cho b'loi kol sipuk emsai eich lemale et hadrisha. Without any vehicles, without any plans, without any direction of being able to how to do that, just this will to live. So nish'ar rak hamishal levad b'loi efshariot ha'akafa shel hamishal. So a person who desperately wants that redemption in their life, but they just don't have the tools to be able to get there. Raka rishima hachiyonit b'mikura hayashal. That when a person just has this wanting, that is Sha'ol. That is what Sha'ol is. That's so interesting.
Wow,
that's so interesting. It's so. I'm trying to remember how to phrase this. I just had a very interesting discussion with somebody about this particular point. Is that when you have the responsibility and the opportunity to do something, meaning when you have the will to do something and the capability of doing it, then there's fulfillment. When you have the will to do it, but not the capability of being able to do it, that's really essentially what he's saying is Sheol, is this terrible place in life. Knowing what you want and missing what it is that you really truly need. That's terrible place.
Right. It's that's when there's that pain of being smarter, pain of knowing more.
Right. Yosef Das, Yosef Machov, you have all this knowledge and you know what the world should look like, and you just can't do anything about it, So you trap behind those barbed wires and you just sort of see the world burning around you, but you can't really do anything. Wow.
Right. It's interesting. It's interesting. He's lost of Rishima. Like a Rishima Hachiyanis b'Makara.
Right.
It's like an imprint of it. there's a sefer that they just republished. I've been talking about this for like the last 3 months. The Emes Ve'emunah of the Katzka. So this was just published by one of his descendants, Rav Simcha Morgenstern, with a whole bunch of annotations and all of the Marim Makumis and all of the like svarim of Talmidei Katzk from Ger and from Ishbitz and from Sachachav and from Amshanov, and they put it all into the footnotes of the sefer. So it's tremendous. It's like the Nakuda that like we know that the Katzka said, and then how like everybody understood it and how they fit it into different things. It's a tremendous thing. So in last week's parsha, there's like a one-liner. There's a one-liner that one of the Talmidim in Katzk asked the Rebbe, said to him, Rebbe, I don't understand. Why is it that we always refer to Akeres Yitzchak? It's Akeres Yitzchak, but it was the test of Avraham. Right? Yitzchak's tied up, but it's Avram's test. Is it not fair? It should be an Nisayon for Yitzchak as well. We should relate to it as a test for Yitzchak. So apparently the answer that the Katzka gave was unintelligible and enigmatic. He said, because the pasuk says Hashem Nisa is Avraham. Hashem tested Avraham. Okay. So one of the Alta Katzka Hasidim that was there, when the Katzka had said this, they asked him after, what does the Rebbe mean? She said what the Rebbe explained once. Apparently the Chavre there weren't aware of it. He says what the Katzka explained once was that a Nisayon, the definition of a Nisayon is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you something difficult to do, but also the Ikar of the Nisayon is that he takes away your Behiras Hadas. He takes away your clarity. So he says, and all that's left is a Reshima. Is you know that there's a right thing to do here, but it's very hard to navigate it. There's a lack of clarity there. There's a lot of design. There's a lot of what I should do and what I could do and what I might do, but it's all bereshima. Like you're not feeling it actively. Mm-hmm. You're almost feeling like it's like something. I remember once that like. So he says by Yitzchak was going to be Moshe Nefesh. Yitzchak had the confidence of like a young man that knows that he's going to be Moshe Nefesh for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was difficult for him, but that's not a Nisayon. Mm-hmm. Nisayon doesn't mean a difficult thing to do. Nisayon means a difficult thing to do, and all that you have is like a whiff of like what I was supposed to be thinking about at some point in time. There's like no clarity in that. It's you have this sometimes that like you knew what the right thing to do was yesterday, and then like you get into that situation today, and it's like I'm just not sure. But I know that I did know. I'm just doubting and
right. So actually, just to take that forward one step, is notice that when Rav Kook is describing what it means to be essentially in hell, as Sheol is the netherworld, it's in a terrible place. What does it mean to be in this dark place? It's not that you don't have access. It's not that you just don't have access to the solution and the ability to be able to get out. It's that you used to, and it was taken away.
Right.
And that's what you're saying about the Rishima as well. Notice the language he says. He says that it wasn't that you don't have the Demus Achios. It was that it was taken out. Mechikas Kishonaseh. It was wiped out.
Right.
So you stand there and you know that you had it, but you don't. That's what Sheol is.
It is the emotional, spiritual equivalent of having the most important meeting of your life happening in half an hour, and you cannot find the keys. And you're running around, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're running around the house, frantic. Where's the key? Like, I had them. I know where they are. Like, my mind is on, like, this essentially important meeting that needs to happen. It's like the most important thing in my life that needs to happen right now. And I can't find the keys.
We've all been there, right?
That's hell. That's hell. That's by the way, you see, it takes a tremendous amount of like control of midos and like immense gvura to not like just lose your kalim there. You know what I'm saying? Like you see people like in that moment of like stress,
they just break.
Well, right? Like people are like yelling and screaming and throwing things and like, you know. People start. I was having a conversation with one of the guys in the shul. It's like I'm usually he says to me, I'm some mild man, and I'm like, it's like, and then there was this thing that like I needed, and like my kid was like sitting on the couch, like eating like whatever it was, eating a bowl of Cheerios, and like I needed to look under the couch, and he's like, I started like screaming at my 2-year-old. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, he was like the 2-year-old's on the couch, and you look under the couch, like people that show. There's a certain hell of like I know. Like I planned this. Like it was supposed to be. It could be. It should be. It might be.
Not bad. Not
Right?
bad. So true.
Yeah.
It's worrying. So how does Hashem take us out? That's the second half. So he says,
Yeah.
through this depth of understanding, when Hashem's kindness to us appears, and Hashem's ability of taking us out of allowing us to express our requests shel chayim, to allow us to start to fulfill our role and our ideals of what life should be. That is the Hashem taking us out of the depths of this netherworld. Hashem, you're taking me out of the depths of the netherworld of my soul. And all those limitations, all those things which didn't allow me to be who I am. That's what you're taking me out of. Brilliant. 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 We've all felt that way. It's just, that feeling of just expansion, that feeling of resolution, that feeling of calmness. That's the Sha'ol Nashi Hashem is removing us from.
Right. And it happens like Yeshua Hashem Keharif Ayin.
It's very fast.
Right? It happens like almost like instantaneously. It's like in the middle of like freaking out about not finding the keys, two things happen simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Like you find the keys and you also get a text like, hey, I'm running half an hour late. Can we meet in half an hour? You're like, oh, Baruch Hashem.
Well, yeah, so I guess the nisayon for us is to be able to sort of meditate on this while we're still looking for the keys.
Right.
So like to sort of with that realization that you trust Hashem Keharif, and therefore you can really say to yourself, so Hashem, I know you can make this better, and I know I'm stuck, and I know I knew what was the best answer now, and I don't know what the answer is now, and I just want something, but I can't get it. So Hashem, please Hashem, allow me to get out. Use it a priori, not just retrospectively.
Right.
Big nisayon.
I'm there, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me here. You can take me out of here. It's all okay. Things are all right. The world is not terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's half of our job as Rabbanim, is like convincing people that the world is not terrible. Like it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time it's not a version like don't worry, it will get better. It's don't worry, it's okay now. Like it's okay now. Like you have what you need now. Now is also okay.
And that affects practice, so
yeah.
It's all right. It's not the end of the world to make the sacrifice right now.
Right.
You can stay an extra minute for davening.
Right. I was talking to another guy that's training running at the moment. So we've got a couple of chavra here, myself and Rabbi Moskowitz, and a couple of chavra. We're running for Chai Lifeline, Miami Marathon. So back in training, the biggest yesod that like all the running guru chavra say, the biggest yesod is run slower. Run slower. That's it. That way you build yourself up gradually. You don't injure yourself. You build up strength. Strengthens your heart. Strengthens your muscles. Fitness. You run slower. Not every run should not be like maximum exertion. You build slowly. There's such a yetzer hara. It's the strangest thing. Like me, 100 pounds heavier, could never have imagined such a yetzer hara. But there's such a yetzer hara of running faster. Because it's in seconds per mile, meaning it's the difference between running, a mile in 9 minutes or a mile in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And you're running whatever it is, 5 miles, 6 miles, whatever it is. Sach HaKol, you're gonna shave off like a minute, 2 minutes, and then I'm running and I'm saying, run slower, run slow. Don't push it. It's the Yetzirah. And then I'm thinking, but I need to get home so that I can get home sooner, so that I can make it to do this next thing, and then I'll have the next. And then I have to remind myself, Sachakol, it's a minute, 1 minute, it's 1 extra minute. Take it slower, and it's a big like midas hagvura to say like take it like 1 step slower. Like I was saying to one of the guys in shul, and what happens if you daven Shemona Esrei for another 20 seconds? Like my rabbazah. Like, if you spent an extra 10 seconds on one bracha in Shemona Esrei, what's going to go so badly in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, we put up with a lot of time wastage.
Yep. Oh yes.
We put up with a lot. Like we don't like to wait for things, but we put up with a tremendous amount of time wastage. No. So, 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds. Yeah, it's like it's the desperation that David HaMelech is saying. Baruch Hu, you took me out of that. You gave me Behiras Hadas.
It's a real good one.
So let's see what Chisani Miyodi Bar means. Meaning,
okay, all yours.
What's this bar? It says, Hashkia b'sha'ol. אף על פי שהיא עמוקה מכל מקום יסוד החיים, עדיין לא ניטל בה מהעוצר הנפשי החיוסי. It says, as hell is, as Sheol is, there's still something there, right? There's still chiyus there. There's a yesod of like, I know what it's supposed to be, right? I still remember what it's supposed to be. I don't feel that now, but I know in theory what it's supposed to be. He says, I still want something. He says, even though every single piece of it is stripped away, there's no ability to fulfill that at all. He says, even though it is tragic and terrible. He says, all of it is filled with confusion and with anxiety and with depression and all sorts of mental ailments. Rav Kook is effectively talking about all the things in the DSM, right? That's what it is. That's what he's describing here, right? Anxiety, depression, fear. He says, "B'chol zayis zik shel chaim yesh kan." There's a zik. I don't know how to translate the zik shel chaim.
A spark of life.
Flash, right? Zik shel chaim. There's a mashu. There's a. I don't want this to be my life. That's what's still there. Is that I know that it shouldn't be like this.
It's not right.
He says, "Aval haYeridel habar zay kvar shikua shel nitilas yisrael chaim." Says, when you go into the pit, that is the setting. It's the sunset where the Yesod HaChaim is taken away. Atimas hatzinor shel hash'ifa shel ratzon hapinimi. It's the closing of the pipe of the desire for life internally. It's very sad.
So sad.
You see that sometimes.
Yeah.
Somebody just gives up.
It's very sad.
Like, I've given up. I'm not fighting anymore. I don't want to make it better. This is kacha. It's and you see this in relationships, and you see this in parenting, you see this with husbands and wives, and you see this with jobs and with schools and with shuls, and it's just I don't want it anymore. It's that feeling. It's that feeling when like somebody's just being beaten down. It's gone. It's like I'm not masking. I'm not masking that it's getting better.
It's terrible.
It's that like emotional lobotomy. It's that feeling that I still want to do something. I still want to achieve something. It says, because they bar. It's like a pit. Asher ein ba afilu hachana le hayra shel zriya. It's a pit. It's a pit that, as opposed to, and he has an implied metaphor here, as opposed to like the trench that you're going to plant something in. Sometimes you have to dig, right?
Mm.
But that's called charisha. It's already plowing something. He says this is just a pit. You're not planning on putting anything in it. It's a dump. He says, yeah, it's not plowing that's going to bring forth tzmicha. He says, chayras habaris tichon nasis biyachas lehamada be'ein shum hechsher ruchani afilu biyachas le'erech nashi mochan l'shlemes ha'adracha. He says, ein bor yarei chet. Wow, beautiful plan.
Transition there, yeah.
Right? He says there's something kairos habayros, right? Meaning a bar, a
Emptiness. Yeah.
Bur, it's empty. It's vacant. With regards to the virus of intellectualism, of knowledge, where there's just no hechsher ruchani. It's not like I don't know something, but I'm wishing to be filled with something.
It's not, the wish isn't even there.
It's
There's
nothing.
There's nothing, right?
Meaning, he's saying David HaMelech is referring to Chisanim Yodi bar. There's a bar in the world of emotional ruchani relationships. He says akin to this is the bur, is the amaratza, so somebody that doesn't want to know, don't want to know.
Sad,
right? This is muchan le shlems hadrach. This is ein bur yarei chet. A bur, somebody that is empty, that's totally empty. There's no space for yarei chet, for fearing mistakes. You're not even worried about it. Like, it's like, and what if I mess up? Azma.
so sad.
Right? This is a bur is less than an amaretz. An amaretz is already a halachic category, right? There's sometimes that you work with an amaretz, somebody that doesn't know, it's somebody that's ignorant of the halacha. But a bur is somebody that's not just ignorant, bur is somebody that is empty of it. It says sha'achana limudis kfar yeshna ba. An amaretz is somebody that doesn't know, but at least he's aware of what he doesn't know. It says Ella shehi chasera El shehi chasra psuach. It's lacking in development. There's potentiality here, but there's no development. It says v'chesed elyon chayder hu lema'amakim. Now he says, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? He says the chesed elyon is chayder hu lema'amakim. Chesed of Hashem penetrates into even those depths. The hachiyos gam is nishkoim b'ma'amak shichas hachayim. Even those that are so deep that they have forgotten even what life is. And they've forgotten that light is even possible. He says, you have revived me miyodei bar, from being so empty and so vacant and so void. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you found me there as well.
It's an amazing thing.
I think there's a godless in knowing that David HaMelech was there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. And probably at certain points in our lives, we've all kind of been at that point in time.
Right.
And and it's funny how you sort of relate to. So how did you get out? It's like, over time, I became more resilient. I became more proactive. It's like, actually, really, technically speaking, Hashem, you gave me that opportunity. You allowed me to express myself again.
Right. That's
not wanting again.
That's right. Like there's where is this coming from? The answer is it isn't. Right. That's how Ramesh David Valley says. Ma'ayin yavo Isri. He says, my help comes from that place called ayin. Right? It comes from nowhere. The place of nowhere. The place that isn't a place. A place that's outside of all place. That's beyond, that transcends place. It comes, and then as we Hashem, it's okay, good. Then you discover that which it came from, that nothing, that empty, that impossible to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that impossible to like rescue myself from this. Came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But first it comes from Me'ayin.
I don't know.
That's where I see this. This is in the Likutim of the Sfas Emes. This is Ketef for Chanukah. I saw this last year Chanukah time. The Sfas Emes in the Likutim on Sefer Bereshis, which is not the standard set of Sfas Emes. The Oretzion Madura, they put out like a 2-volume of Likutei Sfas Emes. Those were the things that he wrote before he became Rebbe, or the stuff that like he carried on writing a lot of that. Like this, the Sfas Emes is like what he said at the Tishas, and the Likutei Sfas Emes was like the stuff that he didn't say. So they're longer essay pieces. So he says 2 or 3 times in Parashas Bereshis that Chazal say that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the light on the first day of creation, so it was Nignaz, right? It was Nignaz. So all of the tzaddikim talk about Heichan Nignaz. Where is the light of the first day of creation, the Shivas Bereshis? So there's a lot that the light is in Torah, and that the light is in mitzvahs ki ner mitzvah Torah, and that the light is la'asid lava. Says the Sfas Emes, and I think it's his chiddush. I haven't seen this anywhere else, but he says this is so gorgeous. He says HaKadosh Baruch Hu hid the light b'chashech.
In the darkness.
That's where it is.
That's my eye.
That's why he says that the or of Sheshmei Bereshis is in the chashech. That's where it was nicknamed.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
It's big Chanukah Torahs.
And that's my Ein Yavayazri, sort of in that depth of despair.
That's that bar, like where there was zero hope. I didn't even know that it was possible to still hope. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it a matana.
It's amazing.
That's yeah.
Such a powerful Yesod. Wow. And this obviously speaks to, as you said, David HaMelech's own experience in so many ways. There was times where he, how did he even come through? How did he even come through? But,
even David HaMelech, he said he was very real. It was very real. I saw in the Likutei Halachas, and we got like half a second left, but I'll tell you this. I saw this in the Likutei Halachas. He's got a piece in Hilchos Orla. I found this. He has a whole mahalach in Hoshana Rabbah, but he speaks about this a little bit, where he talks about why Hoshana Rabbah, David HaMelech, and Tehillim. He says there is not a single Russia in the history of humanity, a single Russia that cannot find their connection to Hashem in Tehillim. He says David HaMelech experienced everything. He says the lowest of the low can find something in Tehillim.
Wow. Wow. That's the bar.
He says, and that's why the minute was Tehillim.
Even where David was. Beautiful. Ashrecha, Rabbi.
My dear friend.
So good. We should be able to find our way out. We should help other people find their ways out, because they're always.
Amen. And other people should help us. That's also true. We need it. My dear friend, Shibu Hatzlacha.
Have a wonderful rest of the day. Good to see you.
See you later.